What's up, world? This is Billy George, quadriplegic, paralyzed from the shoulders down. Man, I was shot in the face. That's what paralyzed me. A bullet went through my right cheek down in my spine, and yeah, from the C4 vertebrae. I I have limited mobility. I can move my shoulders a little bit and my thumb, and that's about it. And I have like tingling sensation, like nerve pain. But let me tell you what, man, God is good. God is good. He sends us hardships in our life to make us stronger, to challenge us. I learned through this that he helps us through stuff. So, whatever you got, with anything you guys may be dealing with out there, just always try to focus on the bright side. I mean, after my paralysis, I was so like the first month, when I was suicidal. I was a mess. I couldn't eat, couldn't drink, couldn't breathe. Had a trach, a breathing tube, couldn't swallow, and was just in excruciating pains, like from, well, not only where I was shot in the face, which is right here, but my shoulder and neck. But despite having those suicidal thoughts, I ended up muscling through it, and I mean, 12 years later, here I am talking to you guys about life decisions and you know and whatnot. I mean, look at these kids nowadays. It's just like I would hate to be a kid growing up in this crazy world. Not that it was too much different when I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, but like, man, this world's crazy. I'm a Bible believer, and I believe that we are near the end times, man. A lot of stuff in Revelation is coming to pass, and I mean, I'm a Christian. After my paralysis, I came to God and decided to you know really like pursue going to church and stuff, and it pretty much I mean helped me through it. To be honest, helped me over that hump of being depressed and down and out, and just defeated. There was a bright side that I could look forward to, and that was that me knowing that God was there for me. And I mean, because I believed in God when I was younger, but I never was really, never prayed, never really said or done anything about it, never, you know, acknowledged Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, nothing like that. And I was just a trouble child, which is what led me up to this. I was running the streets. Um, I mean, I was into drugs, not heavy stuff. I mean, if this would have never happened, I probably would be doing some heavy stuff right now. So I mean, I consider it a blessing. It got me out of that situation and got me into a position where I can help others to the point where, although I can't help them with certain things like physically, but I mean, there's a lot of people that if they look at me and my condition and see that I'm smiling, they'd be like, well, I mean, what do I have to be sad about if this guy is, you know, has very limited mobility and is smiling in himself. I mean, I just try to be, a testament of a success story in the midst of a storm. And I just want to let you guys know that just weather stuff out, man. Weather stuff out. Whatever situation you may be in, it may not look good right now. It may look like a setback. It may look like it's all over. But sometimes what seems like a setback is a set up to propel you to heights that you've never been before. And not to sound cheesy, but your true life purpose. Like through this, I found out that I'm just here to, I mean, my life purpose is to inspire people, make people smile. I drive around all the time. I got a little 8-pound dog. I live in front of the OSU hospital, and I just like to go around and talk to patients. I spent almost a year of my life in the hospital, and I just like to go talk to them, lend them you know, an ear and a caring heart, and just uh, I don't know, just try to give people hope and just make them smile. I mean, there was a man named Bobby Spencer. I'll never forget. This was a little, probably about a month after my paralysis. I was still on the ventilator. I was still in the ICU. I just got done. I just got over pneumonia, and it's like the worst time of my life. And then in scrolls this man named Bobby Spencer. He was shot himself. The bullet. He was searching for night crawlers, and someone thought, because they had flashlights, it was nighttime. Someone thought he was breaking in their house, so they shot him. It went through his neck and paralyzed him from the shoulders down. So I guess he saw my story or whatever. And one day he came up to visit me in the hospital and showed me how he operated his chair, showed me his artwork. I was an artist before this happened. I used to draw, to love to draw. And that's one thing, like, I was like, oh, God, please, please just let me get mobility back in my arms just so I can draw again. But, I mean, I had attempted to draw with a pencil in my mouth before meeting him. But after I met him, he showed me some of the most beautiful, like, detail oriented paintings that he had done with his mouth and that I've ever seen in my life. And, whether people were handicapped or not, just beautiful portraits that, it's almost like a spitting image of a picture. But uh, anyway, I feel like someone needed to hear this today. Someone needed to hear a message of hope, and that, because I don't know, this generation is just people are just after the wrong things. People are just into the wrong stuff, and trying to hang out with the wrong people, and that's kind of what led me where I'm at. I mean, regardless, I mean, you could be in a spot where, see, this my story. You know, I was, growing up. I I My dad went to prison when I was young. I don't know if I don't know, maybe three or something like that. He went to prison for about 7 years, and after he went to prison initially, we uh we had no place to go, so we were in a homeless shelter. It's That's some of my earliest things I remember is me being in a homeless shelter, and I had, of course, with me, I had me a little girlfriend in there. I still remember her. I don't remember her name, but I know that I liked her and she liked me, and that made stuff easier. But yeah. So then they pointed me in the direction of, well, pointed our family in the direction of Wedgwood Apartments, which on the west side of Columbus, totally ghetto. Not so much now. I think it's like mini Somalia now, but man, back then Wedgwood is just, it's a ghetto place to live. Not like, you know hardcore stuff, but uh, I mean, you can see the struggle in everybody. I mean, it's just a bunch of single parents, people on welfare, people struggling to make ends meet, people with addictions. Um, and I kid you not, man, 5 or 6 times a week, at least, we'd hear, either police sirens or ambulances coming down Wedgwood Drive. And it became somewhat normal to hear that, which is, I mean, kind of saying something. But then again, when you're in that situation and you're the one who's in the, you're the one who has the emergency, it's real, man. It's real. And to to muscle through it, you just gotta have hard work and dedication. But anyway, after a little while of living in Wedgwood, my dad had gotten out of prison. He was there for about 7 years. He had gotten out of prison, and not even a year after that, we saw each other a little bit as kids and him, but not really a lot. Took us to Chuck E. Cheese, a little toy place, once or twice, stuff like that. But then one day we were staying at my grandma and grandpa's house after my grandpa had he got in a motorcycle wreck. It crashed and hit his head on the cement and died. The next day, and I guess even if he were to live, he'd have serious brain damage. So but anyway, we were over there watching over his house after that happened, and one day my dad came over. I don't know what the deal was, but he's bipolar, manic depressant, and God bless him. I know he's at heart a great guy, but at least from what I heard, and from me talking to him because I wrote letters to him, but yeah, he came over and he beat my mom up real bad, right in front of us. My mom, we knew what was happening, but we were just in the other room, like, kind of scared. My big sister Sarah kind of comforted me, like in the corner or whatever. And then my mom coming back, and her whole face was swollen. So then my dad ended up going back to jail for another 6 months for domestic violence. And then after he got out after that, we were just kind of on the hideout. We moved in with my aunt Pam and them out in Grove City. For a little while, we was living on West Broad Street in Columbus with my cousins, and yeah, it was scary. We didn't want to interact with them, not knowing, because it's one thing to go without taking your bipolar meds and to still have those manic episodes, but it's another thing when you go without them and then drink, which was his problem, because without that, he was an awesome man from what I heard. But I don't know what it was that triggered him to do this, but it was probably about a year after he got out. He ended up beating my great grandpa to death, um, and yeah, that was his mom's stepdad. I don't know if you heard allegations about him doing something to my grandma or what, or he just, voices in his head told him to do it or what. I just know that it was devastating. I knew him as my great grandpa, it wasn't biological. And, we used to always go up there, my mom and Tom, and we used to always go up there on holidays. They make us good meals and all that. So yeah, yeah, after that, we moved to my grandma's place for a little bit. He went to jail for life sentence. I guess he's eligible for parole after 25 or 30 years or something like that. He'll be in his 60s. But so went over there and moved to my grandma's house for a little bit. Then we moved over out in the bottoms, and that's the Franklinton area of the west side, which is it's a rough area. It's worse than Wedgwood was back then, and I guess it's even worse now as far as the heroin epidemic goes and just drugs, violence, just all kinds of craziness. Not that, not that we were, not that it's like Detroit or, down 8 Mile or nothing like that, but it's a rough place to live. And, everyone I knew knew someone that, I mean, on our block, there was probably about 3 or 4 different either people or like neighbors or like group of neighbors that like sold weed. Our neighbor Dennis had like 10 trillion guns and always like show them off and stuff. And he was older, so that was cool to us. So and, everybody, everyone around you is smoking weed, smoking cigarettes. Weed is like was like more frequently smoked than cigarettes, and just got sucked into it. Even though I was a great student and I always had good grades, besides me getting high and running the streets of my friend Raymond and stuff. I mean, it's tough to get somewhere in that type of in that type of situation. Then comes my accident when my friend was just we one day it was just he had a gun he had got from another friend and came into my apartment. Well, he came in and showed me it. We I remember we had gotten high and smoked weed that day or that night, and then we went for a little joyride where we're like, oh, let's go shoot this gas tank thing that goes to a lawnmower, make it explode, even though we missed it. um, it was just just shooting poles, trash cans, stupid stuff like that. And then, we headed back in. It was late at night. Really cold day. We didn't have school that day. We had school off that day because of the weather. And then, you know, I was just in the bathroom with my now ex girlfriend, who I don't want to mention any names of, but I was in the bathroom. She was like brushing her hair, and I had my head over her shoulder, whatever. Door was half open. He reached his arm around the bathroom door, and the tip of the gun pushed against my cheek. It was like a simultaneous wave the gun. And this is a gun. He waved it. It was just like boom, boom, and next thing I knew, I'm laying on the ground and blood squirting out of my face, and I'm drifting in and out of consciousness. I'm in shock, and I'm trying to mouth to um, my ex. I was trying to mouth to her to stop the bleeding, but I couldn't get any words out because all of a sudden, the bullet went through my spine and it paralyzed me, which made it, it paralyzed a lot of my major breathing muscles. I imagine I was in, two different types of shock. I was drifting in and out of consciousness. It was just it's so hard to explain. Then I just remember them putting me on a stretcher, taking me out to the ambulance, and then boom, closing the door of the ambulance, and it's just like all was black. And it's like a scene in the movie. All was black. And the next thing I knew, I'm waking up with tubes and stuff going through my nose and mouth. I'm in excruciating pains. I know what happened. I know I was in serious condition, but I didn't know I was paralyzed. I just thought I had gotten shot. And maybe about a week after it, when I was finally like with it and knew I was awake and alert, although still in pain and on medications. My mom said that she came in. She said that these people were gonna size me up for a wheelchair, and I was just like, I'm out to her because I couldn't talk at the time. I had like a ventilator and stuff on. But I'm out there. I was like, wheelchair? What do I need a wheelchair for? She was like, they didn't tell you. Yeah, you're paralyzed. And then I looked down and I tried to move every bit of my body, like with the most. I was just like as hard as I could, to the point where I just broke down in tears and was just sobbing. That was like the saddest moment in my life. I was just so like, and then we had a good cry right there. And man, it was just, oh man, it was just the combination of everything that led up to that point. I think made me able to handle it though, because I was used to adversities. I was used to overcoming. Had a rough life. It just made me stronger. And then after this happened, made me even stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, man. And you just gotta take that struggle, see what you learn from it, and apply it to your daily life. And I mean, you get a lot of blessings from it. But kids, parents, I want you to show this to your kids, man, because you never know when you're gonna take your last step. Like, oh, it'll never happen to me. Blah blah blah. Blah. That's what I thought. I was invincible. I knew everything. And when you're that age, you no one can tell you. You know it all. And I mean, that's what everyone says. It'll never happen to me. When you gonna take your last step? When you gonna take your last breath? When you don't never know. I mean, you can walk out right now, someone shoots you, blows your house up. Especially with this crazy world we live in today, with all these, Las Vegas shooters and terrorist dudes and stuff like that. So, I mean, don't they take things for granted? I learned, after this, I learned all that I took for granted. Being able to scratch itches, drink for myself, feed myself, dress myself, go to the bathroom. And then once I did get situated and got all those things taken care of, adjusted to life in a wheelchair, trying to drive it. Then once you're out in it, you realize that so many things out in public aren't handicap accessible. Get to the end of a long block, and the block's bumpy in itself, so your chair's boom, 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 and you drive it with your chin, so the joysticks hit your face. Then you get to the end of the block, and there's no ramp; it's a curb. So I mean, and that stuff still to this day I can't drive down my street, and that stuff still exists. Like I want to be an advocate to step forward and help lead towards making things more handicap accessible. But I mean, this thing really opened up my eyes to appreciate the small things in life and all the the little blessings that we have, and to really look try to find the bright side of things. I mean, people take things so differently the way they interpret it, and I'm lucky I had a good supporting cast to help me interpret it as a learning experience rather than an excuse to drag me down. Um, and I mean, I give all the credit to God. I just wish that, and it's still a struggle to this day. I still have depression. I still have anxiety, but I'm moving forward. I mean, I mean, it's going on 13 years of me. Zooming around, and I'm comfortable with it. Whenever I tell someone about my, they're like, "How did you get in a wheelchair?" Or if you don't mind me asking, like, what happened? And sometimes, oh, I swear, think about making up the craziest things just to make them, I feel like changing the story every time. Oh yeah, I was at war, and I saved 3 guys and dove in the water. That's to save another and keep my head on the bottom, or just say like I was wrestling with the monkey and he knocked me out, and then I came up like a boss and knocked him out with my head after I became paralyzed, which made me more paralyzed. But I thought about making all types of stories, but I feel like it's just it's just a blessing to look back and see how liberating it is to know that you've overcome a challenge, and that in seeing that you were strong enough to overcome something like that, you are confident then in your ability to conquer smaller, uh, less, uh, you know, lesser of evil things to happen, or smaller issues that a lot of people see as big deals nowadays. I see people make the biggest deal over the smallest things. It's just like, man, it can be worse. I am, for me, it can be worse for me too. I'm glad I still got my wits about me. I'm glad it didn't affect my brain in any way. Although some people would, Bethany, my fiance, would definitely argue, beg to differ. But uh, but yeah, it's just, I mean, and that's why I like to encourage people um, to And I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect because I struggle with my own issues too, but I just try to see people see the little blessings in each and every aspect of their life. And I always say that where there's a wheel, not wheel like wheelchair wheel, because I'm Bills on Wheels. That's my nickname. But where there's a wheel, there's a way. And you guys got to find out what your will is, what drives you, what motivates you, what desires do you have, what aspirations. Because, I mean, you never know when you're going to take your last step. God bless. And I hope this message can touch the people in many ways. And I pray you a blessed day and, you know, a fresh mind, a new and renewed, worldview and outlook at things, and just for you to stop and try to empathize with others as I've learned to do over the years. I know the struggles I have, so I see other people going through stuff, try to understand their struggles and their pain, because we all fight our own battles, whether it's big or small. What Sometimes you may look at someone and be like, they're making a big deal over something that's way less than what I've been through, and blah, 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 blah. They're complaining about this. And blah. Look, your struggle is your struggle. If you're not used to something else, it doesn't matter how big it is compared to someone else's. Your struggle is your struggle. Everyone's different, and we all fight our own battles. But we got to go on there with the attitude of a winner and fight to win, fight to uh, accommodate for lost causes, make changes for the better, and just uh, try not to run people over in the process, unless they're wearing Michigan outfits, because I don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. That's not very Christian of me. God doesn't either, though. I can't say that. I mean, I technically can because I just did, but that's the problem. Even though I empty my urine bag on Michigan Avenue every year when we play the Michigan Wolverines. Go Bucks. Yeah, yeah. Set Ohio State logo behind me. BC. BC this. Just like it's BC to have a heart of gold and try to find what cracks and what, you know, opportunities you have to bless others. One song that I like is Give Me Your Eyes by Brandon Heath. And it's basically, you know, asking God to give me your eyes so you can see the bigger problems. And in the video of that song, he goes through a day and he's just walking down the street and he sees a girl run out and get hit by a car. He sees a homeless guy. He sees a lost kid, but he doesn't realize that he's lost. And then after seeing all that and just going about his day, the video rewinds and he goes about it all over. And he looks at it in God's eyes. So, it shows what he would have done in God's eyes. So, yeah, so he, talks to the person before they get hit by a car, helps the person, find their mom and they were lost, and just stuff like that. Just try to look at things with the eyes of God, to just take every opportunity to help someone else. As much as you may like to help yourself, um, sometimes it's the best way you can help yourself is to help others. The gratification you get from that is um, worth $1,000,000, and um, without the ability to do that, my purpose in life would be, I wouldn't have a purpose in life. So smile, dang it, freaking smile, or I will run you over through the whatever you're watching this on. Smile. I'll sprinkle my magic pixie dust on you, and you will smile. Smile. My magic pixie dust is running out. Smile. That just made it look like my face was paralyzed too. Ooh, I like staring at people like that and giving them a hard time. Okay, again, I'll subject. You guys have a blessed day. Take from this what you will and apply this to your life if need be. And feel free to hit me up anytime. God bless. Take care.